Why doesn't he show his birth certificate?
For Donald Trump and his party, this is the beat they drum to.
Well, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Mr. President, salam.
Thus, comedian Jimmy Kimmel mocks them on national television.
It makes her a slut, right? Makes her a prostitute.
The late Rush Limbaugh, a conservative hack, said this of Sandra Fluke, which...
Hey, is that slut Rush Limbaugh here? People are still upset with Rush for comments he made about Sandra Fluke, but you know what? There's a reason Mr. Limbaugh said what he said, and that reason is Percocet.
Kimmel was quick to throw a jab back at the former radio host.
But most Muslim people in the world do condone violence. Just for what you think.
But it wasn't just right-wing doofuses. Bill Maher got it as well.
And by the way, just to clear things up for the extreme right-wingers, here's the difference between Bill Maher and Rush Limbaugh. The people who watch Bill Maher know he's a
They get voted into office by portraying their constituents as victims. And it's all your fault, and it's my fault. It's the rich people's fault. It's the Republicans' fault. It's everybody's fault except what's going on. And what's going on, as you know, is a dissolution of the family. And you don't have proper supervision of children, and they grow up with no skills, and they can't read and speak, and they have tattoos on their neck, and they can't compete in a marketplace. And that's what's going on. But if you say that, you're a racist. So no matter what you say, Congressman, you're going to be branded because the race hustlers don't want to solve the problem. How's that?
In addition, another network's former biggest star got the finger pointed and laughed at.
Bill O'Reilly wrote a controversial book about another great president called Killing Lincoln. I actually have my own theory about Lincoln's death. I think John Wilkes Booth was innocent. I don't even think it was an assassination. I believe that Abraham Lincoln had a vision about what the Republican Party would become in 150 years, and he shot himself. Is the Fox table laughing, or did Rupert Murdoch hack into all my jokes already?
Contraception, if you're trying not to have a baby, that's over.
Ditto with another network's big star.
MSNBC has a very big star now in Rachel Maddow. Rachel hosts her own show. She's a best-selling author. And yet somehow she still manages to find time to cut her own hair.
We're making some progress. Much of it is related to the initiative called community policing, because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed the crime bill that was passed in 1994. He promised 100,000 police. We're moving in that direction, but we can see it already makes a difference. Because if we have more police interacting with people, having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs. Just as in a previous generation we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the president has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs everywhere.
Hard to believe this is the best the DNC could do against the easiest man to beat in a presidential election.
He said he wasn't sure it was the same Hillary Rosen. He said, I personally know 3 Hillary Rosens. You personally know 3 Hillary Rosens? Where did all these Hillary Rosens come from? Did you pick them in the Hillary Rosen garden? I bet you $10,000 you don't know 3 Hillary Rosens, but I'm not running for president, so. 3 Hillarys. That sounds like President Clinton's worst nightmare.
Thus, Kimmel had fun at her disposal.
For the record, Santorum believes marriage should be between a man and a woman only.
Why? Because I believe we are made that way.
Santorum also opposes abortion, including in cases of rape, and he's spoken of the dangers of contraception or birth control as, quote, a license to do things in a sexual realm that is counter to how things are supposed to be.
Remember this dude, and in addition, how CNN employed his bigotry after his days in D.C.? Gross stuff from a major news network, right?
But if you're a Republican, you know, there isn't much of a choice. I get Rick Santorum is out. I guess it just wasn't Rick's year. Rick's year is 1954. You know, it's one thing to oppose gay marriage. It's another altogether to do it in a sweater vest. But, in the end, Rick Santorum may not have won the nomination, but he succeeded in getting his message out, not just to Americans, but to people all aflat the world.
So who are the fish?
I'm Joe Manchin. I approve this ad because
The biggest catch, according to Mr. Coy, it's the conservative Democrat Senator Joe Manchin.
Joe Manchin, I talk to his office every week. He is the kingmaker.
This is really incredible. I mean, what a collection of people. Here in one room we have members of the media, politicians, corporate executives, advertisers, lobbyists, and celebrities. Everything that is wrong with America is here in this room tonight.
What's happening on America's college campuses is horrific.
No, they're not. They're protected under the United States Constitution. Kimmel chides this goof as well.
I have a question. Who are these people who think it would be a good idea to attack Iran? I hear people say, bomb them, nuke them, just do it now. But they're a real bunch of yahoos and Netanyahus.
And on this chud, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich.
It's great to see the Gingriches here tonight because I guess that means the check cleared. Newt, I have a question. How can you be against gay marriage when you yourself are the son of two gay parents, the Michelin Man and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
So there's a lot here, and there are many different directions that we can go in, but let me just say, when you hear the cold, brutal, honest truth from a comedian, especially in a room such as the one that Kimmel described, it rings hollow. The point that I want to hit on is not him making fun of Newt Gingrich, which is always welcome, not the making light of birtherism, which is always welcome because it was started by Donald Trump in order for him to get in the press, which he is very good at doing. Let's be forthright with that. In the most wrong ways possible, of course. And it led to him becoming running for president and becoming POTUS. But what I want to touch on is Kimmel making a joke about the irony that in that Washington Hilton, you have politicians, advertisers, lobbyists, the ultra wealthy, and media members. If that is not a clear-cut conflict of interest and, quite honestly, irrefutably questioning the integrity of everyone and everything in that room, I don't know what is, because it is the clear indictment of what we have been saying for years, that our elected leaders, our free press, they don't serve us. They serve corporate overlords who have limitless amounts of money. Look up how much Blackstone is worth, BlackRock is worth, Boeing is worth, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, all of these companies, right? And think about how good of a business practice it is on their end to funnel that money to a politician to do their bidding. Pay them, let's say, $300,000 of what we know via open secrets, $200,000, $400,000, $1 million, in order for that company to have loosened policies, not be subjected to investigations, have those investigations killed, and in turn they make billions. It is the most savvy yet corrupt investment one can make. But here in this country, it is, as I've said many times over, legalized bribery, and they are all in that room together. Think about that.